Hey, Linda.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Hey, Diane.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Dan. You staying cool out there today?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely cooler than Michael's office. I know that.
Cold. It's cold in here.
Well, that's the worst part when it gets so hot outside. It feels so cold inside, and then you almost have to go outside just to warm up again.
Yeah.
Bottom line is we're never quite happy, right? Hi, Amber.
See you, buddy. Have a good weekend.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Brian.
The second meeting, I've remembered the password, so I'm learning slowly. But
I was thinking about
It's
that,
funny
Brian.
you say that. I was pretty proud of myself for remembering it tonight.
I was
I wasn't
thinking,
going to say anything, but
I was thinking about the origin when I put it in, and I'm thinking, why 125? What was it, December 5th? Was that the purpose, or how did we come to 125?
That was just purely just random number.
Okay, well, so the DSP though, I thought that was designer selection panel. Okay.
It was because at the time we had just started that process, and this was when the time was when everybody was hacking everybody's calls left and
Yeah.
right, and
Zoom bombing.
yes, that was the latest and greatest.
Yeah.
At least we don't have any old types that get hacked still. Better be safe than sorry.
I just submitted my Vax-A-Millions registration. I hope you've all done the same.
I already won, so give it up.
I'm not sure a million's enough to retire, so we'll have to finish this job if any of us win.
Depends on how old you are, Brian.
It's true. I'm very old at heart, so
So I have it. I have the million.
nice.
Nice.
Right now.
Lots of animal activity today.
I imagine. I don't see Dan yet. I imagine he's still assembling.
Yeah, he probably is.
I just put my pen down literally 5 minutes before this meeting.
Yeah, you wrote it.
Diane, that took like a minute. That was you that said that, yeah? About the Maximilian? Was it Diane? Who
Yeah.
said they just did it? Yeah. I was like, how do you even do it? And I Googled it and it's already done. I was oh my. Are those the Revere firemen? I keep hearing about fires in Revere and I'm feeling so badly for them in this heat.
It's been a rough month for the Revere Fire Department and the families that they serve.
Yeah.
3 houses a couple weeks ago down in Beachmont and another 3 houses the other day.
Terrible, but thank God for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had one of our schools start on fire this week.
Oh,
No.
crap.
Wow.
I don't exactly know the origin, but something about an electrical box in an attic. And thank God the sprinklers put it out, but they lost 8 classrooms to water damage from the sprinklers. So they're going to have to do some shuffling in the fall because it's more damage than they can fix this summer.
Sounds like an ARP project.
Yeah, there were like flames coming out the roof apparently.
Mhm.
Terrible. Yeah.
Thank God it was now, right? Versus when the students were there.
Yeah, that's what the superintendent's email said. Thank God, and none of the students were there.
Gary.
Yeah.
We have 7 out of 13 members, so perhaps we should get this started.
Sounds good. I'm not sure. I know a number of people had vacations that may have interfered with their ability to join tonight.
Okay, I can get us started if we'd like.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today is July 1st, 2021. Welcome to the Revere High School project meeting number 13. And the time is 5:33. And Linda, did you want to take a roll call of the members since your list is in a different order than mine?
I can certainly do that.
Okay, I don't want to mess you up with my order.
That's quite all right. I'm beginning to start learning all the names by heart at this point. Give me a couple more weeks, I won't need my list. But we will start with Party.
Present.
I don't see Rigo, so I as absent. Stacy Johnson Rizzo.
Here.
No more on my list. We have Susan Resolisi,
Here.
Dr. Kelly,
Here.
and I do not see Carl Swenson, so note him as absent. And Dr. Perella is also absent. Jennifer Hayes.
Here.
And I don't see Rich Biscay either, so I'm going to note him as absent. And Don Cermella, absent. And Nick Rystrom.
Here.
Thank you. And don't see Jerry Visconti and Patrick Keith.
Here.
Excellent. All right. Brian, let me make sure that I get this right. Why don't I start with the first agenda item to make things easy at least is to vote for approved meeting minutes from our last meeting, which was the June 24th meeting.
I just have one question on the meeting minutes, Linda. I believe towards the very end of the meeting, I don't remember who asked the question, but I know Brian Dagan confirmed that we were to add 1A, the ad reno, into the building decision because that was a requirement by MSBA, and that's not in the meeting minutes.
Yep,
And does anyone remember that?
It was in the motion, yeah. So I think if it would be okay to approve the minutes with that modification, that would be great for tonight, because we are including both those approved minutes and we're going to try to quickly turn around draft minutes for tonight's meeting to go in with tomorrow's PDP.
Okay, thank you. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the modification that I just specified with the 1A ad reno being added into the submission moving forward.
Thank you, Susan. That's a good catch.
And
Thank you.
just to be semantical, as the chair of the meeting, Susan, you can't make the motion.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Would someone else like to make that same motion that I just made?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Dr. Kelly, second by Susie. Okay. All right, so we will do roll call to revise meeting minutes, which I will do, and I'll send out another version of it. And again, as Brian mentioned, this is just a time sensitive to go in for tomorrow's PDP submission. So I will take the roll call for Mike Picardi
Yes.
and Stacy,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
and Dr. Kelly,
Yes.
and Jennifer Hayes.
Yes.
And Nick Rystrom,
Yes.
and Patrick Keith.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
And did you get Mike Picardi? Did I not hear it? Sorry.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Sorry
you're
about
up. You want to continue the motions for future minutes?
Yeah, so we can probably make this pretty simple. Just in combing through all the documents, part of this, we'll reiterate this later, but the preliminary design program, first off, PDP, when I say that, preliminary design program, we're planning to get in tomorrow. And basically 99% of the PDP is stuff you've already seen. And one of these is just feeding them all the certified meeting minutes. In scrubbing through the meeting minutes, we just found 3 old minutes that didn't have a motion to approve them from May 6, 2020, July 15, 2020, and August 24, 2020. So just to make sure there's the record's completely clear, we're seeking a motion to approve those 3 minutes. Unless anyone objects, I feel like this can be done in one motion, not 3 roll calls.
So I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from May 6, 2020, 7/15, 2020, and 8/24, 2020.
Second.
Right, perfect. I will do a roll call then for this, for accepting those minutes. Mike Picardi
Yes.
and Stacy Rizzo,
Yes.
Susan Bartolisi,
Yes.
Dr. Kelly,
Yes.
and Jennifer Hayes.
Yes.
And Nick Rystrom.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Awesome, thanks. So if I'm not mistaken, Linda, we're that frees us up to move on to just PDP discussion?
Yes. Yeah, I see Dan has joined. He is on mute and off camera, so I don't know if he's finishing paperwork, but
Yeah, I can queue it up and we'll see if Dan's available. Dan was going to share the screen. I think somebody else might be able to get it on the screen, but you were forwarded a link today to the preliminary design program. It's a massive document, and I do understand that you just got the link today. We certainly don't need people to go page by page through that. As I said, it's really an assembly of everything you've seen. It's the cost data, the schedule data, all the educational visioning items, the space plan. So it's stuff that's come to this committee over the months, all assembled into one large report. The parts and pieces of it that that maybe people haven't seen are really just intros and narratives that queue up the various sections of this report. And this is something that it's the first major milestone once the team is assembled to go into MSBA. They're going to read through it. They're going to return us comments, and we will have a defined amount of time, I think 10 days or so, to respond to those comments. That's something that the design team in left field will coordinate, getting responses back to that. We'll probably want to squeeze a building committee meeting in there so that you folks know what the questions and comments were, and you folks know which direction we're going in terms of answering them. But we, as a project team, will then deal with those comments, but we're still just going to be moving on with the preferred options you all voted on last week. You'll start hearing the acronym PSR all the time. As of today, that'll be the phase we're in. It stands for the preferred schematic report. I'm even getting myself tripped up. And the goal of this phase that's going through the next number of months is to much further develop the 5 options we have and ultimately whittle them down to one through a process that might be similar to how we whittled down the PDP options. But I think we'll talk about that in the next few months, how ultimately you want to judge these, because that decision this fall is sort of a very important binding, if you will, decision. There's no backing out of that decision. Once we pick that option and we proceed forward, the project and the committee are tied to that option. There's no redos on that. So we'll get into a little bit of a next steps, but in the meantime, somebody was sharing the screen there. I'm not positive if Dan's back, but otherwise, I think is that you, Linda?
no, that is actually Dan.
Oh, nice. Dan, you want to just do a quick walkthrough, or do you want me to? I'm not sure if you're having any access issues.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
muted. Or
he's not muted, but he's getting
Yeah.
the X.
right.
So if you can hear us, even if you could jump to the table of contents, that could get us moving. As you can see, it's up to a 1,200. Well, as you can barely see, it's at 1,280 pages document.
Yeah.
I see life. I see the mouse moving at least.
I can grab my phone and text him and see if he's having issues. Hold on one second.
Sure.
He's turning green.
There he is.
All right, do you have me back now?
We can hear you now, Dan.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'm gonna talk really fast, disappear again. One can see the screen.
You're breaking up a bit, Dan, I think.
Yeah.
You see the,
Yep, we can see your screen. Yep, Revere High School, PDP.
We can see it, but we can't quite hear you.
Yeah, Dan, if you can hear us, if you could just cue it up to the beginning of the
okay, great.
Sure.
So basically, this is, as Brian said, it's kind of a
Yeah, Dan, why don't, if you can hear,
Brian, why don't you grab?
Dan, your voice keeps breaking out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to hunt down a what might not be a latest version of this. You're in and out, Dan. the screen is working, but your voice is in and out.
One of us can share the screen if you want to talk about it, Brian. I know you and Dan had a conversation about it. I just had it open. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, if you didn't mind sharing the screen, I think I only had an older version, and I'd like it to be the live one.
I'll make a presenter now.
Yep, apologies, technical difficulties.
We're all quite used to the Zoom world these days.
Right.
The one I'm sharing.
The person you see pictured with Jennifer is who we're building this school for.
Awesome.
Nice. So Brian, can you see my screen?
Yep.
It looks like I have one that was saved at 5:26. So it's possible Dan is like literally making changes as we speak, and I can't communicate with him. So this one
That
has
was actually me.
1143.
I was the one that saved it at that.
Okay, that was you, Bob. So anyway, I'm not having technical issues. So Brian, I think you were looking to go to the table of contents. I think the only thing that was changed was some of the appendix information.
Yep.
So
It's actually, if you didn't mind just sort of blowing it up a little, and then we'll just do a real quick scroll down. I really just want folks to understand it's a whole lot of organized information that has come out of this whole process. A lot of it sort of early is related to the educational program. The intro stuff is where some of the narratives that we've written to support what's been presented to you are located, and a lot of that is also just stuff like the design enrollment certification, project directory, project schedule, just sort of stock information. The project schedule, we go through each of the schedules that we presented to you in the last few weeks, and we've included a fully detailed schedule that aligns with 2 or 3 of the current options. During the PSR phase, we'll be making a fully realized schedule for each option instead of just the graphic schedules and summaries you've seen. The next major section is where all of the results of educational visioning and all of Perkins Eastman's meetings with the school department, teachers, community, et cetera, sort of get poured into. First, it's a real detailed understanding of how the school functions. And a lot of this, again, is just historic info that's come through the ed visioning process, just organized in a way that we can ensure that we're hitting all of the MSBA's required items they need to see in this report. Moving down past the educational program, that starts turning into the initial space summary, which starts comparing, that's a document that went through this committee and I believe to the school committee as well, or the ed program did. It basically is comparing the existing building versus what we're carrying. If you'll remember, Bob presented a lot of this stuff to the committee a handful of meetings ago. This is where it goes in the report. As the report moves on, it goes into evaluation of existing conditions. That's all sort of old recycled information through there. Nothing surprising down there. And if you could just keep jumping down, same info for the building, for the sites. Site development requirements is a section that's mainly discussing the project's approach to how to address these. It's very early. It's really high level general information. And the 316 evaluation of alternatives is where we start getting into all of the options that we've presented to you, including there some of the graphics you've already seen, the plans, cost info, schedule info, et cetera. The 317 section, local actions, is a summary of every meeting this committee has had, the site subcommittee has had, and a list, a template letter that has to be signed and was signed by Dr. Kelly and Mayor Arrigo to certify that we have all the certified minutes. We've got certified minutes for all these meetings from the clerk, and scrubbing that local actions letter was what resulted in that discussion earlier tonight about approving those 3 old minutes. And then finally, there's just plenty of appendices with various items that are referenced earlier in the report. A lot of this, again, is just old information like the board action letter, Revere statement of interest, design enrollment certification, and then really back up for all of the reports and studies that we've done. So other than the narratives that everyone's been sort of buzzing away with in the last number of days, there's really nothing new here. We do encourage you all to flip through it. If you really want to read, sort of read it page for page, the intro section is what I would tell you to focus on. The first 40, 50 pages of this are a good read for you all in the next few weeks. The pages behind it get to be a lot of just old information. And thank you for throwing that up on the screen, Don. This is just sort of an example of some of the summaries and narratives. A lot of this comes from the school. A lot of it is edited by Perkins Eastman, but nothing in here should surprise anyone. So if there are any questions, we could sort of address them about what's in here. Is there anything people need to see? We can put it on the screen. Otherwise, we are looking for, one of the things MSBA requires is the building committee to make a motion to allow us to submit the PDP to them. And if we get there tonight, we will be submitting this electronically tomorrow. And I'll be tossing the originals for that local actions letter and the stamped meeting minutes in a package that will be mailed to MSBA. That's it in a nutshell, all 1,200 pages of it.
Do you want me to keep sharing, Brian, or do you want me to take it down?
I'd say does anybody have any questions that maybe we want to jump into the document, or if there are no questions, I'm interested in seeing if someone's willing to make a motion to submit the PDP to the MSBA.
So just quickly, Brian, did you say this was sent to us today or it's going to be sent to us later tonight?
I thought a link went out earlier today.
Yeah, it did.
Linda, was that
Oh,
the
it
case?
did. Okay, I might have missed it. Sorry.
After the meeting agenda and minutes, it's unfortunately this document is way too large to email.
Okay, great. Thank you.
It did go out earlier today. I don't have any questions on it. I kind of looked at it quickly, but in the future, if we could get something, a document of this size to us earlier than the day of the meeting, it would be really appreciated. So we could take more time to look through it. I'm not at a desk during the day. It's not part of my job, so I don't have time to sit at a computer. So in the future, if we could get something that's, this important to review a little bit sooner, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, understood. And apologies, it sort of was through today. We're gonna sort of massage exactly how the PSR schedule goes, so we can feed this to you with more time, even at least a weekend between the meeting and when you get the info. So I do appreciate that, Susan. We'll sharpen the pencil on that one.
Okay, thank you. And I'm a slow reader, so it takes me a while to get through these documents.
Understood.
Thanks.
Brian, one thing I wanted to clarify, maybe for Dr. Kelly or any members of the school committee, is that you may notice if you look through here that there is a updated date or version on the on the space summary and the programming documents, and just wanted to let you know that nothing has changed as far as the program is concerned. It's really just been backfilled with existing conditions. So, as far as what has been seen and approved, the program is still the same.
And so I'll just say that the vast majority of that is, of the 40 pages, I think that Brian referenced before, is the document that was shared at last month's school committee meeting and is also posted with those meeting minutes.
Yeah, especially in the next phase, the PSR, a lot of the information you're going to be seeing is new. A lot of this information in the PDP is looking backwards as far as the statement of interest. So this one's a lot of old information the next one is going to be a lot of new information. So we want to be cognizant of getting that in front of you earlier than day of.
And just one other thing I'd like to mention before we vote this and move on is I know neither of them are here, but Dr. Perella and Carl Svensson and other folks from the school department, the curriculum directors and others spent a great deal of time in the last month working on this with Bob Bell's guidance, which we truly appreciated. So I just want to acknowledge the hard work that they put into getting all of this work collated and put together.
I saw a question. I think one thing I'd like to address is just because there are some questions on the timing of this. The reason that we are asking you folks to approve this is to stay on schedule. Basically, this is ultimately tied to the MSBA board looking at this and it going through them, and we would likely miss the schedule for getting that in if we can't get them this report this week. So the answer that some of you might have to the question in the head is, if we were to say let's meet again next week and approve it then, I think chances are we'll lose a month of the schedule.
So at this point, if you don't mind, I'd like to make a motion to submit the PDP as discussed, so that it can be sent to the MSBA tomorrow.
I'll second.
Thank you. And that was you the second, correct?
That was me. Yes, Susan.
Thank you. Every once in a while, I have a tough time catching up who's talking. Thank you. All right, so we'll do one more roll call for today for the motion to approve the of the PSP DPP. Sorry, Ryan, you're confusing me now.
Boom, boom, ba-boom, boom, ba-boom.
I will start with Mike Picardi
Yes.
and Stacy
Yes.
and Susan Gregory,
Yes.
Dr. Kelly
Yes.
and Jennifer Hayes.
Yes.
One step closer to that school. Nick Rystrom
Yes.
and Patrick Keith.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much, everyone.
Awesome. We will dot the final I's, cross the final T's on that document. We'll get a full record copy out for everyone, and it will be, we'll coordinate getting it up onto the website as well. It is a MSBA submission. Technically, it's a public document. It's also something that I think is good for people to know is on the website, because it's probably the best document to date for someone to start at if they want to see what's been going on. There's been a lot of study and production of documents before, but the purpose of this document is really to bring everything that's happened to date together and set up the goals going forward. And I think it does a good job doing that. So otherwise, I just wanted to give a quick verbal update on some next steps, and then we're all set. And this is just to give you all a flavor of sort of what's coming behind the scenes that'll make its way to you, and what other items we might have on some agendas at upcoming meetings for the committee to discuss. Some of the behind the scenes and boring work I'll start with. We're going to be working with the city, the mayor, Rich Viscay, to really understand how the project will be funded. Based on some discussions with Rich and things he said in meetings, it appears that a debt exclusion vote is not going to be required, which is great. The project can likely be funded under the city's debt limits. That's wonderful news, because it turns the vote into simply a yes/no vote. Do you want this high school? It does not need an accompanying vote for a tax override. So that's something that we'll really get to the bottom of with Mr. Viscay's help and the mayor. And we'll need to be very specific during the next submission to MSBA about real numbers and looking at actual when it's going to pay out, cash flows, etc. We're also going to be helping the city push housing relocation. I had a a good meeting with the mayor and a few of his people, including Bob O'Brien earlier this week, to let them know that the committee did move along 2 options at the Housing Authority. They discussed initiating outreach to that board. So I think that's something that we, the project team, need to become real in the next few months. So there's going to be an acceleration of getting this option really vetted by the housing board and getting it a little bit out in front of the public, so that when we do submit and have you folks start grading these the remaining options moving forward, you really know what the impact is. So that's related to both outreach to the Housing Authority and pushing a replacement housing project. We're also going to push outreach to Wonderland to establish whether we're talking eminent domain there or some type of negotiated sale. I think that'll be a little bit easier, lighter lift than talking about the Housing Authority site. And one thing we want to work with the school and the committee a bit with is to discuss a bit more about the scenarios that involve reusing the building. We've heard you folks loud and clear that reuse of that existing building weighs in heavily to folks' opinions on the options. So we want to sort of peel back the onion there and help you understand what can be done, what the time frame might be, what you can do without triggering a renovation, what might trigger a renovation. So we'd like to get a little bit more light on that. That'll probably start with some discussions with Dr. Kelly in the school, and then come back to this committee just to make sure that we have that right, whether we're demolishing or not in the schemes as we move forward. We also are going to get a comparison of design bid build contracting versus CMR, construction management at risk contracting. We've talked about that a little bit during previous meetings. Some folks have had some comments that we definitely need to get to the bottom of that. We would like to have that discussion in the next number of months so that we could, if we choose to go construction management at risk, we can do that during the schematic design phase next spring and get a construction management team on board to be doing a pre-construction phase, helping us work out site logistics, reviewing documents for technical reasons, reviewing estimates, producing estimates, etc. And finally, the exciting stuff, you'll be seeing a lot more development of site plans and building plans for the options you've seen. And I know that's something that Dawn and her team have been working on. We've sort of all gone into PDP production mode leading into tonight, but I know that they have a good head start on updating a lot of the plans and site plans that you folks have already seen. And that's something we want to keep front and center with the committee to really make sure you folks are getting very familiar over the next few months about what these sites would look like and feel like. So that's all a lot of homework upcoming. I think we'll probably keep up a pretty good pace of these meetings. We're probably not able to go to 1 meeting a month. We probably still do need 2, in my opinion, for the coming weeks and months, but we will put a more organized agenda for how we're going to mow through those things I just talked about together, and probably front load a few of the easy ones like design bid build versus construction management at risk, construction procurement, because we could do that presentation tonight if everyone was really bored and wanted to talk about it for 2 hours, but I don't think we're prepared for that. That's all I have for just a look ahead. I'm not sure if anyone has any overall questions on where we're at, or anyone from the team had anything else they wanted to add.
Brian, are you saying you're going to sort of publish what you just said, meaning you're going to lay out the work plan for the next several months and highlight sort of the key questions that you're going to be honing in on? So is that something you're going to publish and send out so the committee can review it?
Yes, you'll have that well before the next meeting. And so I think it's really the goal of it is to keep us all sort of accountable. If we're going to ask you to make final decisions in a handful of months, there's still a lot of questions that we need from both inside of this committee and outside of this committee. So some of that's going to be to keep us on task of getting you timely info, and some of it's going to be to keep outside entities on task.
Brian, maybe
Brian,
just to just expand on the scheduling part of this. So we're still in the feasibility section of the work, which is estimated to continue throughout towards the end of October, just to give everybody sort of a forecast. So we'll continue meetings every other Thursday for the foreseeable future until we move into the next step, which is approximately 7-month process that takes place after the feasibility is completed. So we're well on our way through the process, but we will start seeing, continue to see these meeting invites for every other Thursday for at least throughout October at this point.
Brian, the only thing I wanted to add is that we'll also continue the programming development. And one of the things that we've pushed out intentionally is a little bit more of a target on types of new labs and tech spaces that we'll be providing. So we have an idea and we have placeholders in our program, and we're going to supplement that with some business and community partner meetings.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, are there any other questions on what Brian just went through? I don't see any hands.
Not on what he said, but I just looked at our calendars. We don't have the next committee meeting on the calendars. Are we all aiming for the 15th?
Right, yes.
Okay. All right.
So I will send out another batch of these to take us through at least the summer, so at least it's on everybody's schedules, and understanding obviously that the summertime is a little bit more difficult. But at least they'll be in there as a reminder for those who are able to join. So I think that from our agenda that covers the sort of upcoming processes and upcoming events, unless there are any questions, I'll go on to see if there's any public comments today. No comment? Okay. We'll move on to next agenda item. Are there any other new business or discussions that anybody would like to add? Okay, quiet bunch today. All right, then we're going to go to our last item, which is the one and only thing that I can't complete. So is there a vote to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Kelly makes the motion and Susan is second. And I will then take one final roll call for tonight to adjourn the meeting, starting with Mike Riccardi.
Yes.
Excellent. And Daisy Rizzo.
Yes.
You have to free up your hands. And Susan Bravellisi.
Yes.
And Dr. Kelly.
Yes.
Jennifer Hayes.
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm sorry, you said yes? Any objections to me taking that as a yes?
Sounds like yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Nick. Sorry. And Patrick Keefe.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. With that, have a nice and safe long weekend, and we will continue to follow up with final documents and see you all in 2 weeks.
Happy
Thanks, everybody.
Independence Day, everybody.
Enjoy. I
Thank
can't
you.
wait to read my 40 pages. I'm so excited. How do I get out of here?
Bye, everybody.